So thank you for coming tonight in Angers for your special gig here on a Sunday. Donc on fait une interview de Duel pour leur tournée européenne, notamment dans le cadre de leur dernier album Valley of Shadows, sorti en mois de mai 2019. So I am interviewing you for your last album, Valley of Shadows. Okay. Was coming out in last May. Yeah. So I have a very special question because Duel was founded in 2016. Yeah. One album, Fear of the Dead. Yeah. 2017, Witch Banger. Yeah. 2018, Electric Church, a live album, and this year your last album, Valley of Shadows. Yeah. Where do you find all the energy to record?
Oh man, it just it keeps coming, you know, and we keep getting opportunities to tour, you know, and for a tour to be successful, you kind of need to have something new to sell, you know, so your merch sales are okay, you know. So we've just had a lot going on, and the second album first album you have forever to make, you know, and then the second album we had a really short amount of time to do it, and then we did the live one to give us more time to make Valley of Shadows, because we were going to record our third studio album, Boom Boom Boom, 3 years in a row, but we needed a little more time. So but it's cool, we're glad we took some time, and it's like we get so many comments on this, like, oh, you guys are so busy, you're doing one album a year, and it's like, in the 70s, people used to do 2 and 3 albums a year for like 6 or 7 years on, you know, so we feel like coming up with 8 songs a year, we can do that. So it's not even one a month.
Valley of Shadows received a lot of positive feedback. Yeah. How do you feel about it, and how do you feel about like your whole career, because all your albums have a very positive feedback?
Yeah, well, we're kind of surprised, honestly. We didn't know. We made this record thinking people were going to hate it. Some of our friends that are like hardcore fans, we would play some of the new stuff for them, and they'd be like, I hate it. And we're really worried about what the feedback was going to be. But then the first review we got was really good, and it was from a guy who's always been really tough on us, you know, and he was like, they finally won me over, you know, and like, oh, okay, cool. And then the more we would hear from people that, like, it still sounds like us, it's just a little more focused, or maybe less focused, I don't know. It's a little more broad of an album, and we wanted to do that. We didn't want to just like, boom, make an album like it's a show. We wanted it to be a record that was like a whole thing. It was supposed to be a concept album, and we had another name for it and everything, and right at the end we found out that another band had released an album with that same name 2 months earlier, and if you put the CD in a machine, it will tell you the title of the first time. It was that late that we had to change it.
Can you explain the process to record this album, Valley of Shadows?
Yeah, we just, honestly, we do a lot of work at home, just like making little voice recordings with our phones, you know? And then we get together and jam some of that and record. Our guitar player is a record producer, and he has a studio. So when we're in like recording mode, we just practice in the studio, and we record everything, and we even go back and, you know, edit and mix practices to like, oh, what if, you know, this and that, and then we have these really shitty Frankenstein recordings that only we would understand, you know, and we just keep doing the process again and again till we have the tunes. And then we do one final record. When we record an album, we record the album maybe 4 or 5 times. So, but we know we're doing that. The first one isn't an attempt. It's just like, you know, it's kind of like your sketch, and then the next one's this and that. And we really like to tweak our songs. We think what's really important is composition and all that, just because people have such short attention spans, you know, that like you really have to fucking keep it moving, you know, and we all have short attention spans, so, you know.
And do the inspiration come from the live performance or?
Yeah, definitely. We try to catch, you know, what the show is on the album. But this album, we were going to try to road test all these songs because we had a tour booked right before the album. And we went on tour and we didn't fucking play any of the songs. So we didn't really get to polish them live and then record them, which is something we've been wanting to do. So maybe on the next one, you know. But, yeah.
You like the 70s?
I do, yeah. I mean, I like, whoa. Oh my God, it's in my hair. Okay. Yeah, I like the 70s and the 80s. You know, I like a lot of proto metal stuff, you know, and early. I feel like some of our other stuff, we were listening to like a ton of early Judas Priest and the first, you know, Iron Maiden album and stuff has been inspiring us more now than proto metal. Like our first two albums, I felt like were more 1969, 1968 kind of music, and we just sort of like, I've been listening to something 5 years later or something, you know, I don't know.
And why the name Duel? Is that from the movie?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was thinking, we were trying to think of names, and I collect VHS, you know, and there's this thrift store in Texas you can go to. They're 10 for $1, so you can get 10 movies for $1. So I have hundreds and hundreds of them, and we were just looking at all these old VHS titles, and there was a million great names in there, but Duel was the one that just like, it's like, also we wanted a short name because I make posters, you know, as part of my job at home for concerts and stuff. And every time a band has a short name, you have to blow the name up really big to fill the line, or it looks weird. So if you have between 3 and 4 letters in your name, you're always going to be huge on the poster, even if you're playing down here, because it looks weird, you know what I mean? So
For the songs, what are the topics that inspire you? Do you write alone, together with the band?
The words I definitely write alone. And I don't know, I watch a lot of weird movies, you know, and I like lots of old foreign horror movies, and I like a lot of weird fantasy movies, really bad production movies and stuff. And I like the fucked up storylines and like Conan the Barbarian and stuff like this. And there's all these like weird, you know, it's just like nowadays, if you got a witch and a wizard and a song, everybody's gonna love it. You know? Or something, you know.
I saw that your van is from Italy.
Yeah.
So you sign on Heavy Psyson Records.
Yeah.
I have some question about it, because how and did you met Gabriele before the first album came out? Or?
We recorded Fears of the Dead as a demo. It was just, we self-released it as a CD, and then I sent it out to like 100 labels, you know. And real quick, we wrote those songs right when we formed the band, recorded them a few months later, and then started sending them out. And we had a lot of response. We had 3 or 4 record labels wanting to put it out, and we didn't hear back from Gabriele till the fucking last second. We were gonna put it out with this Cosmic Artifacts, and he contacted us, and he offers a lot more than just a label. He books your tour. That van is his, all the equipment, all that, you know. And he's a musician himself. Yeah, he does just does everything, you know. And we immediately got along super good. I think we're like similar people, you know. So we just went with him, and it's like there's been no reason to do anything else. We just keep like moving forward together really well. You know, his label's growing and it's helping us move forward, and he's not too big, you know, to where we're, you know.
Did you tour with Black Rainbow or some other band from the label?
We've done some stuff in the States with some of them, and a few off shows here in
the AV Texan Fest in the US? No?
Yeah, we did those. I actually booked the Texas ones.
So you play with Yawning Man? No?
Yes, and Red Fang and Nebula, and it was great. Yeah, San Francisco was sold out. We got to play main support for Red Fang, which was amazing, and it was great. It was fun. The Jello Biafra, you know who that is from the Dead Kennedys?
Yeah, I know.
He was there at the show and like talking, like buying merch and everything, which to us, you know, when we were all 14 years old.
This is some other question about like the band's life in when you're touring. What is a typical day when you're on tour?
It depends on where we are. I mean, in the States, we try to. The States is fucking huge, you know. And you could go on a tour where you drive 4 hours and play a show, drive 4 hours, but you're gonna play a lot of fucked up places. So to get from this place to the next place that matters, it's 14 hours, you know. So we get in the car in the morning and we drive, and then we get out and we set up merch, fucking play, get paid, then we get back in the van, drive all night till we get to the next, then we get out and then we do it.
Is it the same here in Europe?
No, here we sleep at night. The drives are short. Every European tour, we put this post up that it's a picture of Europe and it's the outline of Texas, and it's to true size, you know? So our entire European tour fits inside Texas. So we're basically just driving around Texas for a month. That sounds real easy to us, you know? But we go to, you know, we'll have to be in New York in 2 days, you know, and so we'll just fucking do it.
What do you listen in the van here?
Listen to?
In the van when you're driving.
Man, we listen to the sound of the wheels. we lost our dongle thing, so we can't listen to music on the stereo. But I don't know, when we did have a stereo, a lot of times everybody brings their own music. So if you do need silence, just because our ears take an insane punishing, we'll play 250 shows a year, and we're always way too loud. You know, the sound man never puts the guitars in the PA because the amps are so loud on the stage, and our drummer, you know, it's just like you go fucking deaf, you know. So sometimes it's good to just have silence. Also, so you can assess how bad your ears are ringing. You don't hear it till it's quiet, then you're like, holy fuck.
And my last question is about here this town. It's your first time here in Angers?
Yeah, for sure.
Did you know that Angers has a partnership with Austin, Texas?
Well, I learned it about an hour ago. Yeah, but before we got here and anybody told us that, I was like, man, this is like Town Lake. I mean, our city is the same thing. You know, there's Colorado River runs down the middle. And this whole thing is like this park called Zilker Park, and they have shows just like this. And we were like, man, this is super weird. It's like being at home playing. They do this thing called Blues on the Green. It's not always blues, it's all kinds of music, but they've just called it that for so long. But it's the same thing, except for it's on Thursday, not Sunday. So
And when will you be tomorrow? Where will you be?
I think Toulouse.
Toulouse? You're going back to the south of France?
Yeah, and then we go to Nantes. I gotta look.
So when you're leaving France?
When are we leaving France? France, just there's 2 more French shows.
2 more shows.
Yeah, we actually did a lot of French shows on this tour compared to last tours, and I don't know what it is. There's just a lot going on here right now. Rock in Berlin was awesome. That was a great festival, and I don't know. There's a lot more opportunities to play in France right now. It seems like.
Maybe in Hellfest. Have you heard about it?
Yeah, of course. We were actually on it this year, but we didn't get booked on an inside stage. We got booked on an outside stage, and then something at the end happened where we didn't even get on that. So when stuff's that big, it's just like, here he comes, he's back.
And the last question: what is your favorite beer?
Oh shit.
IPA.
Oh no, man! I like Mexican beer.
Mexican
Oh yeah, I drink Mexican beer. Pacifico. Have you ever had it?
No.
It's this beer with this happy little yellow label on it with like a life preserver thing, and it's from Mexico, and it's dangerous. You don't realize you're drinking it. It just like disappears, and it's gone, and it's cheap too at bars, so it's dangerous. Yeah.
Well, Tom Frank, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for l'interview.
Thank you for coming.
C'était l'interview de Tom Frank, chanteur et guitariste de Duel pour la plaine du Stoner lors de leur passage à Angers. Ils continuent leur route demain à Toulouse et mardi ils terminent à Nantes à la scène Michelet. Allez, bonne soirée à tous.